Roman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
UFC 269, the last pay-per-view card of the year, and we have a fun one, guys. We have a fun one. Excited for this card. Great fights all over the card. Great fights all over the card. I'll be going over the main card like usual for guys, giving you guys some free picks, breakdowns of the fights as well. Tough week last week. We're coming off a tough week. It's been a while since we didn't find any winners on my personal play card. We did go 0-3 on the card. Wasn't on a few of the upsets. Obviously was on the font side. Aldo showed, he may be ready for another title shot. It's pretty wild how his career panned out. Obviously, the title holder, Jan pretty much ran through him already, so I don't know if that will happen. I can maybe see like a TJ Dillashaw when he comes back versus Aldo. I think that'd be a great fight. So something along those lines. Not sure if he'll get the title shot right away, but he may get a second chance if he continues to win. So very impressive what we've seen from Aldo. Difference in the fight was the power, in my opinion. Aldo's power. I think it obviously got knocked down a couple times, Font. I think 2 times. The leg kicks that he brought back, I didn't know if he was going to bring them back. He brought them back late in the fight. I think about the 3rd round he started kicking the leg. I think he dropped Font once with the leg kick as well. So yeah, if Aldo can mix all that in, and even some grappling as well, he could be very dangerous and obviously get that title shot again. Can he beat Jan? No, I don't think he can. But obviously I wouldn't mind seeing that fight again. Bounce back card here, like always, anytime we have a tough card. Let's take a look at weekly updates, guys. Let's look at weekly updates in all sports in the world of system capping. UFC still a nice long-term run here at 65%, guys. 65% long-term winning record here. 64% best bets over 2 years now. 2.5 years we're looking at. And just under 45 units on all bets. NBA, our hottest sport right now. We are rolling in the NBA so far. 75% on the season, guy. 24-8. 24-8 currently in the NBA season. Had a nice 3-0 NBA Tuesday night. After having a tough Saturday, we bounce back, and that's what we do here. NFL 3 winning weeks in a row now, coming off a 6-3 week and a 4-0 prop weekend. We did go 4-0 on the props last weekend. Second after the NFL season's when I usually shine the most, so hopefully we continue to roll here. Another free play underdog for you video viewers. Remember, guys, my NFL video comes out weekly on Friday mornings at 9 a.m., so definitely take a look at that. We hit the Chargers last week. It was an easy outright winner. PGA profitable prop market last week. Just missed out on an outright. We hit a nice ticket though. Justin Thomas T5 plus 180. That's what got us the profit. We did go 2-2 on matchups. Could have been better. A shot here and there ruined a couple matchups. Could have been an easy 4-0 matchup day. But with golf, one shot here and there, things can change. 70% best bets over 2 years, guys. 70% best bets over 2 years. That's my highest best bet win percentage for long term. And we're over 63 units in the prop market. NHL limited, very limited. Last week 2-1. Last few weeks 2-1 total. Even on the year from a record standpoint. Focusing more on the other 4 sports currently. Check out systemsportscapping.com, guys. Current sale for 1 year package for the whole month of December. $100 off the full year package. Take advantage now. The best is getting a larger sample size for me. You can see how I handicap and see why I profit in every sport throughout a full year. That's the best way. Best way to jump on board is that. Guys, subscribe to the channel as well. Subscribe to the channel, like, and comment. It does help me out a lot, guys. Share with friends. It only takes a second to do all that, so it is much appreciated. Remember, guys, shop around. Shop around for best prices. Let's get right into this card. Main event, guys. We have an exciting one. I'm excited for this one. It is my guy, Dustin Poirier, minus 160 versus Charles Oliveira, plus 135. Excited for this one, 5-rounder. I don't see it making the judges here. Dustin's last 10 fights, 3 made the judges, and 1 being a 3rd-rounder. Charles, only 1 made the judges in his last 10. Charles, he's not a point fighter. He's not known to, just look to win by points. He looks for that finish, either by submission or knockout, and that's why I do think it's going to be a fun fight. Both guys, I do think, are going to come out fast here. This one should be a high-paced fight. Not as high-paced as that Michael Chandler fight. I think Chandler came out a little high-paced. Charles matched it. I don't think it's going to be like that. Charles continues to prove people wrong over the years now and winning this belt. At plus money, I understand why some people are betting him, and it is intriguing. However, Charles just hasn't fought a guy this durable before, in my opinion. If there was a guy I had to choose to fight for me for 5 rounds, it would be Dustin Poirier due to his toughness and durability. Skill-wise, I probably would say overall Charles is better overall skill-wise. He is better on the ground. He's the better grappler. Better wrestler. I think it's close, but I think he would be the better wrestler. It looks like he has improved that over the years. And striking, I say it's close, but I do lean Dustin. I do lean Dustin as a better boxer. Toughness goes to Dustin, though. Durability goes to Dustin. The bigger fights, the main events go to Dustin. Right? We can't argue that here. Now, we saw Charles go through some heavy adversity last time. He did go through some adversity against Chandler. Remember, he got dropped in the first round by Michael Chandler. Don't forget that, guys. Okay, he got dropped, and then he showed some awesome comeback in the second round. That was very impressive how he came back in the second round and finished Chandler. Chandler's chinny, though. He is chinny, and he's more of a one-round fighter, in my opinion. I know he showed great skill against Gaethje. And he was ready for that fight, and he came out and he was able to take some shots. But Chandler can get knocked down and can get finished, and Charles did show that. With Oliveira, though, his hands aren't heavy from recent fights. Like I mentioned, he did knock down Chandler here. Dustin will just need to stay away, I think, from the grappling exchanges. I don't think he's going to be worried about the hands as much. Now Dustin's good on the ground. Don't get me wrong. He is good on the ground. Charles is at a different level, though. Okay, we do have to keep that in mind. I know Dustin at least trained 80% of this fight and on this camp in wrestling exchanges, grappling exchanges, and defense on the ground, just in case it gets there. Just in case Charles attacks it similar to that Tony Ferguson fight. You guys remember that Tony Ferguson fight where Charles Oliveira just pretty much laid on him for 3 rounds, but just beat him up for 3 rounds. Now, I don't think Dustin's going to be able to be laid on for 3 rounds or 5 rounds. I think Dustin will be able to get up and move around. However, that could be something that Oliveira does if he's not having success on the feet. Now, can Charles get Dustin to the ground? We will have to see, but we have seen Dustin in the past fail and not do as great against guys that can grapple and wrestle and get it to the ground. I just think he'll want to keep it on his feet, make it ugly, make it like a war, which does favor him. Charles wants his grappling style, right? He has the better skills overall, like I mentioned. Dustin's my guy. He is my guy, favorite fighter in the UFC. You see the signed glove behind me previously. And you could say I'm biased, I do think he pulls this win off just due to his experience in the big fights. His all-around toughness and durability, I think, allows him to win this fight. I can't bet it at minus 160 straight up. The line is not correct, in my opinion. I do think it should be maybe around minus 120 for Poirier, if not maybe even money. But, I'm going to give you guys a play, and it's going to be a lean to Dustin Poirier. Has it made my card? No. The thing that I like most in this fight is something that I have to find a way to work in to my betting card this weekend. It's going to be the fight not to go the distance. I have a hard time seeing this fight going the distance the way these two guys fight. So that's going to be my favorite play here. It is pricey, so I may have to find another partner to parlay it with. But I lean Poirier here, guys. But I understand the price for Charles, plus 135. Very intriguing. Very intriguing with that ground game. If he's able to hold them there in the wrestling department, that could be his path to victory. So watch out for that, guys. But definitely lean Poirier here. And this fight not to go the distance. Co-main, another title fight, and it is the GOAT. The GOAT is back. Nunes, minus 800, minus 900, minus 1,000. It keeps going up versus Pena, plus 550, plus 600. This line continues to climb. I understand. She's always highly priced. It makes it very difficult to bet on her. And the books have to protect themselves, so I get it. The books have to protect themselves. Even if you bet her to finish the fight, which she most likely will, you're going to have to pay minus 300. So my opinion is if you're going to bet Nunes, you're going to have to bet the finish because most likely she will finish this fight. Now, Pena has been begging for this fight for a year now. It got canceled once due to COVID. It got pushed back. But it's happening this weekend, hopefully. I love the confidence from her. I do think she has a chance to make this a fight if she makes it ugly and tries to grapple and wrestle heavy. I can't tell you guys if Pena is going to out-wrestle Amanda or even be able to get her to the ground. That's the problem here. I don't know if she's going to be able to. We've seen Amanda struggle. We've seen Pena struggle before. She got submitted by a kickboxer in the randomie. Remember that? I do think Pena obviously will go to a grappling wrestling style and try to get it to the ground. But what happens if she can't? Then what? Right? Nunes is going to be able to piece her up on the feet. Pena is not a good striker at all. But she's tough. So I do think she can. She hasn't been knocked out in her career. I think there was one TKO finish, but I think it was from a cut. So we're not going to really count that. But Pena is going to want to try to get this to the ground, even make it ugly against a cage. But I don't think Amanda will stay there. I think she'll be able to reverse it, get out, try to strike. And Nunes is very dangerous on the ground as well. Let's not get it twisted. She's a great grappler. She could get a submission here. You can get a submission at around plus 400, plus 350 for Amanda. I don't think it's going to be a clear KO. Could be a TKO from Amanda or a submission. But, I do think Pena lasts a bit in here. I do think she can push the fight. We have seen some fights go the distance, guys. Remember, 4 out of her 7 last fights have gone to either 5 rounds or 3 rounds. Keep that in mind. So she does fight to decisions as well. Even some people think that all she does is finish girls. She doesn't. There's some fights that, off the top of my head, Spencer and Durandamy, they all went 5, right? So Pena does have a chance to do that. It's just how will she be able to wrestle with Amanda? Will she be able to get her down? Will she be able to grapple? And will she be able to at least stay on the feet and move around and avoid getting hit with big shots? I say Pena hangs in there for a bit. I do like the over 1.5. But you're just banking on that Pena, doesn't try a crazy game plan of just coming forward and trying to bang and strike with Nunes, because that's a recipe for disaster. Nunes wins this fight. If you want to get creative, you got to bet the 300, minus 300, maybe in a parlay for Nunes to finish the fight. But I do like Pena to last a bit. All this talk and she gets knocked out in the first round. I don't know. I don't know. I like the over here, so I would look at that for Pena to be able to last maybe a later finish in this fight. Neal plus 100 versus Ponzinibbio minus 125. Tough one to call here due to a few things, right? I'm sure you guys already heard about the Neal issue and what happened. How focused is he? He got pulled over. He was drinking and driving. I think he had a gun as well. So I don't know. Let the courts handle that. I don't know what's going to happen there. But how focused is it if you're drinking and riding around with a gun in your car a week before your fight? Right? How could I back James Neal here? Sorry, Jeff Neal. Why am I thinking James Neal? I'm too much hockey on my mind. Jeff Neal at plus 100, I get it's intriguing because before this fight and before all these issues, it was even money. 110, 110. So now you're getting Neal because of these doubts. And I get it. You know, Ponzi looked good in his last fight. He looked good in his last fight against a prospect in bias. He showed that he's durable. He showed that he won't give up and he can take a shot. And Neal's path to victory is a big KO. Right? There's no other way I think Neal could win this fight. He's not going to win on volume unless he's changed something. The last two fights, he barely threw a punch. So Neal's going to have to adapt and change his fighting style if he's going to win this fight, in my opinion. Or if Ponzi decides to stand and bang and, you know, get in his face, Neal could catch you and Neal can put you night-night, right? If you look at Neal, some of his victories, it seems like when he steps up in competition, that's where he fails, and he seems like he's like deer in the headlights in the Thompson fight and the Magny fight. He just wasn't a good matchup for him. You know, I think Ponzi's best. I think he should mix it up. I think Ponzi should mix it up, make it ugly, grapple, make it an ugly fight, try to wrestle as well. Minus 125 is not a bad price. I'm leaning the Ponzi side here. Just due to his volume. I think he throws more. I think he's just going to be more active. We just haven't seen anything from Neal to suggest for me to bet him and then add this drinking and being pulled over and going to jail into it. I just cannot bet Neal. I don't know how you would be able to. The only thing is you can think, you know, he really has to show up here. He's lost those two big fights. He needs a win here. He needs to put this stuff behind him, but can he, is the question. There's a lot on his plate right now. So I have to go Ponzi here. More experience as well, right? He has a ton of fights, 29-4 if I recall. Is that what it's showing here? So, you know, I do expect this fight also to go to a few rounds, so I would look at the minus 1.5 here. The only way this fight doesn't go over 1.5 is if Neal catches Ponzi early. Ponzi's not going to knock out Neal. It would be a Neal quick KO, and I don't think that's going to happen in this one. Kaya France, plus 120 versus Cody Garbrandt, minus 140. Yes, Cody is moving down and has moved down until 125. The fight has not started yet. We do have to see weigh-ins and see how it looks, but from everything that I've seen and the weight cut watch that I've seen and the interviews I've seen with Cody, he's saying this is where he should have been all along. He said he texted Dana and said this is where I should have been from the start. Because he is a smaller 135. I think he'll be a big 125. He'll be bigger than Kaya France. It's just going to be tough to say how Cody's going to look in his first fight down here. How's the cut going to be? It is a tough back Cody here. Even though I do lean his way and think he does get it done. Kaya France, I think he's a super quick guy. He doesn't have a ton of power. He has shown to be chinny in the past. So if Cody does catch him with one of those big shots, he could knock out Kaya France. Kaya France is coming off a nice KO win, however. However, most of his fights are to decision, and he's not known for his power in KOs. This is a fight you'll need to watch the scales, in my opinion, and could be a better live betting opportunity just to see how Cody does in the first round. If it's very close, if maybe Kaya France slightly won the first round, you may want to look at Cody at maybe even plus money. You know, I will have to wait before I can bet on this fight. I'll have to wait till Friday, maybe even Saturday if I do like Cody to release to my clients. I do need to do a little more research and watch the scales on this fight specifically. One thing here, though, guys, the volume could be an issue for Cody. If this fight does go all three and Cody doesn't find the KO, Kaya France could win by volume on the judges' scorecards. Now, what I think Cody should do is he should mix in wrestling and grappling here, right? Garbrandt was able to get Font down a few times and control him for a little bit. So if Cody mixes it up, I think Kyle France is not a grappler, that's for sure. Coming out of City Kickboxing. So I think Cody could win in that aspect. He's going to be the bigger, stronger guy, in my opinion, if the cut goes okay. So because of all that, I lean Cody here. Hasn't made my card as of yet, but I might get there after I see the scales. I just hope the price doesn't move if everything looks good on the scales. Last fight to open up the main card, and it is the main card fighter. It is the man, Sean O'Malley, minus 310 versus Paiva, however you want to say it, plus 250. Scary line here a little bit. It is high. It's not a fight. It's not a fight you can bet straight up. You're going to have to find this to put it in a parlay. Maybe the best guy O'Malley has fought so far, I would say. Thomas Almeida, he's out of his prime. Paiva's 21-3, quiet 21-3. Yeah, not a lot of it on the UFC region. Casuals might not know too much about him, but he looked good against Kyler Phillips, O'Malley's partner, training partner, at one time. He got hurt badly in that fight. You know, Phillips could have won that fight, could have moved into the top 15, but he ended up losing because Paiva came back, and I thought it was a draw. I don't think he won. I think he won round 2 and 3, but some say that Kyler won that first round 10-8. He demolished him in the first round. Like, it wasn't even close, guys. I'm surprised Paiva lasted. So that was surprising. He's shown that he can take a lot of punishment, which is important in a Sean O'Malley fight. Because Sean O'Malley will put the punishment on you with the strikes. It will be interesting to see if Paiva mixes it up and tries to wrestle in this one. Because it hasn't been tested, O'Malley. If O'Malley's standing, banging, he is probably too fast for Paiva. He's going to be able to hit him because Phillips was able to. Paiva may move to a wrestling and grappling style type of fight. So that will be interesting to see. O'Malley has been grappling. He has wrestling, guys. If it's news to you, don't be shocked. He does do that. He does grapple and wrestle, and he can. Don't think he's a black belt. I think Paiva probably has him there. But O'Malley is fairly well-rounded, if it does come a shock to you guys. But yeah, I think O'Malley gets it done, minus 310. I think it is a parlay piece here. You can look at the KO. You get it at plus money. He could knock him out, right? It could happen, but it just Paiva showed that durability in his last fight, which kind of scared some people. So, yeah, I like O'Malley. I would lean the finish, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is a decision and O'Malley just wins on volume. That will do it, guys. Exciting card. A lot of tons of main event, good fights, and tons of on the prelims as well. Obviously, prelim fights and any fights I like on the prelims will go to my client card. I do have a best bet, actually, on one of the prelim fights that I most likely will be sending out to my client shortly. So if you are interested, get on board. Check out the system, sportscaptain.com. That will do it, guys. Like I always say, bet smart and know your limits. Take care.